Hello, well, by way of a change, I thought we'd do the introduction to the next ride, which is in 2 parts, possibly even 3, outside. It's nice and sunny, it's a lovely sunny Sunday, and just been returned from that ride, and it's a circular ride from Kirkby, Lonsdale, up to Sedbergh, and then over towards Kendal, and then back down towards Kirkby, Lonsdale again, down a different route. Perfect day, lovely dry roads. What a difference that made. Much more pleasant to ride over. Quite a bit of wet in places, but nothing to worry over. We did have a shower of rain, and but no, it was lovely. So I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you on the first part very soon. Hello, I'm glad you can join me on what promises to be quite an interesting ride. Look at that, dry roads, yes. I'm in my element. Had a couple of showers on the way here, but we're now in Kirkby, Lonsdale, and we're just about to cross over Devil's Bridge, and I'm going to take a turn off to the left. Now, Devil's Bridge is a favourite meeting up spot for many motorcyclists. They join their friends here and then they go off for rides. So we'll see a bit of that as we head off down here, and just over on the left here, and you can just see them now. Now I'm just going to pull it. Got a few people across. Yeah, well, it's a Sunday morning, isn't it? It's just relaxing. Yeah, so I'm going to pop in and just make sure the camera's recording properly, and wipe the lens off and wipe my visor off. It's all a bit wet. So that done, we get away. And we're heading off up this road, which is the A road, which runs from Kirkby Lonsdale up to Sedbergh. And the plan, is there a plan? Not really. We're going to take it how it goes, because as you can see, it's a bit cloudy and I'm not quite sure what the weather's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be nice and sunny, but that was back home. Now up here it's often very different, so anyway, never mind. That's nice, put them for me. Yeah, so we're going to head off up this way, and when we reach Sedbergh we'll decide what to do then. Hurricane's running beautifully, and you will notice there is no screen. No, although I said it was going to be a 6 months trial, it didn't take long. In fact, it took 2 rides for me to realise that no, the screen does not work on the Royal Enfield Hunter for me. It causes far too much buffeting behind. The sound quality was absolutely dreadful because I wear the camera around my chest, so lots of eddies. Eddie, who are you? Eddying rent behind that screen, and it just turned it awful. And actually there was no advantage, because it felt as though the screen was pushing all the air not only behind it but also up into my face, which made it far worse than riding naked, so to speak. And as James has remarked, don't turn the camera around if you're riding naked. No, I won't do that, James. So, yes, this is a little village of Casterton, as I call it, being a southerner. It's obviously Casterton if you're up here. And yeah, it's quite a bit of, on the way here, quite a lot of wildflowers out, so that's good. And some wild garlic, which, well, lovely scents from the wild garlic. So yes, spring is truly here, despite the dreadful weather we've been having. Today is absolutely gorgeous, and what a difference it is to me to be riding on dry roads. Whilst yes, I've ridden on the wet roads, I never relax, and that's not why I ride. I want to ride to relax and see things. So that's what we're doing today, and I hope you feel likewise. Yeah, in fact, thinking to myself, Lane's Explorer, well, he hasn't been along any lanes, has he, for about 5 months? No, and the reason, of course, is because they're all covered in muck and flooded. And when I did try it, of course, I went into a bit of a water splash, so to speak, and yeah, it's put me off a bit. So I'm waiting for the lanes to dry up. So I suppose we should be calling me I don't know, country road rider, I suppose. I mean, the reason for being Lanes Explorer goes way back when I first got the bike, and I went on to the Royal Enfield forum that was run by Hitchcocks in the UK, and you have to give yourself a title. Well, I thought, what can I call myself? And well, I might want to ride up some lanes, so I call myself Lanes Explorer. So that's how that came about. And then when I noticed there was one in America, also run sort of by Hitchcocks, or in collaboration with them, an excellent forum that was, and that Royal Enfield forum. And at the time there was only the Meteor in the 350 lineup, and I called myself Lanes Explorer UK then, but I haven't been on there. I don't go on to forums now. Since the Hitchcocks one stopped, I didn't bother. So now it's yeah, that's when I started YouTubing actually, and yeah, I didn't know how to do YouTube then. I'm not really sure I know how to do now actually. Some might say, you're not doing it proper. Well, no, this is how I do it anyway. So, and thank you all so much for watching, enjoying, and commenting. Oh, I just love the comments. Some lovely comments you write to me, and I would love to answer them. So, yes, out in the countryside at last. Wonderful. Yes, I've also removed the lens hood I made for this camera, because I fancied that on the last ride that there was a lot of wind noise, far more than there was before I fitted that lens hood. And in fact, the lens hood didn't seem to be making much difference, and you could just about see it in occasionally in view. So I thought, no, take it off, and anyway, let's see how that goes. So yeah, it's all changed, isn't it? Right, we're just coming up to the village of Barben over on the right hand side, and we're crossing over Barben Beck now. Barben Beck leads off to the left, and that goes into the River Lune, which we're actually running along the Lune Valley, of course. I say, of course, you wouldn't necessarily know that, but we are. Yes, so the Lune Valley runs up this way, and we'll be crossing the Lune a bit further along before we reach Sedbergh. So there's a lot of rivers around this way, because up in the Sedbergh area you've got another couple of rivers. You've got the Dee and the Rothy, as well as the Lune, and it all runs off those fellows you can see up there, and the ones on the right hand side, which is Barbendale, Barben Fells. And yeah, a bit of flooding up this way, but I don't think we need to worry too much. The roads are mainly dry, and I'm relaxed anyway, and I hope you are. Yeah, very pleasant morning. I mean, it's very quiet, considering this is a Sunday and this is a popular area to be around. There's not that much traffic, nobody in front of me anyway, certainly. Perhaps they're all behind me. Come on, get a move on this thing. No, I'm not going to carry on my own sweet way. So right across over on the left is the A65 that runs up from Skipton all the way up to towards Kendal. Nice view across there of Barben Fells and Howgills. Flooding here. Yeah, so it's obviously running off the field, must be a bit higher there, it's running down. I imagine there's quite a bit of flooding from the Lune. Anyway, today's lovely, so we'll get past this again. watching some of my fellow YouTubers, James Ainsworth Rider and Nick at Silver Fox Travels, Saddlebags 73, that's Jeff, riding on along his lanes down in Cornwall. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not riding along lanes at the moment. I don't really have the bike for it, for the sort of mucky lanes. You'd need something like the Himalayan or something similar to that, which I don't have, of course. But yeah, this sort of riding, country road riding, suits me at the moment. So, and there's plenty of them. I mean, I love the road that runs actually from Sedbergh along to Halls. That's a lovely run, and then on beyond that. So there's plenty of good country roads to be riding on, as well as the cutting across country. Yeah, I think I was saying that there are lots of lanes running over towards the left, and I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to go up to the end here, the end of this road, at the junction between where Sedbergh goes off to the right and Kendal goes off to the left, and we're going to go off to the left because that's not a direction I've been in. I mean, we've been down that road from Kendal to Sedbergh, but not in the opposite direction, so it'd be quite interesting for me to do. And then I think we're going to come back down another road, a B road, which will run from up the Kendal area, Oxenholme, down towards Kirkby, Lonsdale, so that'll make a nice circular route, and quite long enough because I'm not actually that fit, bike fit so to speak. I'm fairly fit in other ways because I've been doing a lot of walking, a lot of cycling, and been trying to lose a couple of pounds off my waist, a couple of inches off my waist, well, an inch anyway, simply because I don't want to be buying a load more motorcycle gear, and the trousers get a wee bit tight. So yes, need to get a bit of weight off. And in fact, my friend Dave Merciamoto has also bought himself a bike, and I don't know if I had any influence on this, Dave. I'm not sure. Anyway, he's got himself a bike with power assist, and he's been doing a bit of cycling. So yeah, it was good actually. He sent me a link to the video he did, and it was interesting because he rode around the Sedbergh area, which is where he grew up. Now I didn't know much about Sedbergh at all. I did watch his video about his great uncle Alfred, I can't remember now, who was killed in the First World War, or died after the First World War, and he showed us the Sedbergh area then. That was riding on his motorcycle, but this one we're cycling around, so you got a bit more chance to see the area. But everywhere it changes, doesn't it? I mean, over the time, I mean, I was born in Portsmouth, lived in an area called Baffins, which is in Copner. Now that's, in a way, that was a little village all of its own. It was around Baffin's Pond, and when I grew up there in the 1950s and just into the 60s, I didn't really leave there until the mid-60s when I moved out towards Fareham along the coast a bit. But in those days, Baffin's area, Tangier Road, it was like a little village all of its own, because you had Copner Bridge, which is a railway bridge, and that seemed to segregate that area of Baffin's from the rest of Portsmouth. Now, a lot of Portsmouth got bombed during the war, and there was, some of it was pretty poor repair actually, because Portsmouth being a dockyard town, the dockyard never paid very well, and the housing was okay, but nothing to write home about, as many places weren't back then. Things have changed a lot now, hopefully. But yeah, the Tangier Road, Baffin's area, I loved growing up in it. It was quiet, and good friends to play with, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Now we're just coming down that road up on the right hand side there. That will take me up a lane, but through a farmyard. I have been through that. It's called Home Open Farm, and you actually rise through the farmyard to get past, and then it goes up over a couple of bridges and a gated road, and it's a Dishu railway, the one that runs from Ingleton, or did do, right up to Carlisle, but no longer, unfortunately, which is, I think, terribly sad, bearing in mind all the work that went into producing it. And now, it's all changed, hasn't it? Yes, so we can't really look back too much. There was an awful lot of stuff that was awful back in the 50s and 60s, and so a lot of things have changed for the better. Now this is the River Lune, and the bridge is quite narrow here, so it's only really room for one vehicle at a time. A couple of motorcycles could come over together, I suppose, if they wanted. And this got swept away not so many years ago in floods, and it right. Obviously come from Kirkby, Lonsdale. So for a long time they didn't have a proper bridge there. They had some sort of ex-army thing they stuck down sort of with ramps. Hell of a job to get over it, very slippery. So I didn't actually have a motorcycle then. I used to cycle up this way. Whoa, cycle up this way, yes I did. Amazingly. Hard work. There we go. This is much easier. Now straight on there, that would take me a sort of shortcut across country along a lane. That would take me up to the road, which I think we're going to be taking. And I've never actually done it, so when it gets a bit drier, I think that's what we'll have a go up there and see what it looks like, and then from there we can carry on back and out across to Kirkby Stephen, and I expect others. You'll probably recognise these bikes. I've no idea. All of them look to me. We only really see the tail end of them, don't you? But James seems to know exactly what bike it is when he sees one on the road. I don't at all. Just occasionally you get a two-stroke gun past. Oh dear. Yes, I've quite forgotten how they smell. Definitely never been a two-stroke person. I did have a go on a BSA Bantam many years ago with my friend Arthur on the back, who was a bit heavy, and oh dear, it was a 125 Bantam. I think the silencer was choked with carbon too. In fact, as I recall, that was why I had it, because it belonged to the motorcycle training scheme, and they asked me if I'd clean out the silencer, so that's why I had to road test it, of course, and Arthur needed a lift somewhere, so we had him on the back. But oh dear, no, I'm not a two-stroke person. I think Edward Turner said, the Triumph designer, his argument for having the Tiger Cub as a four-stroke was that he preferred green oil lubricating his bearings, not watered down or petrol down oil. I don't think he was a very pleasant man, Edward Turner, what I've read of him. Personality wise anyway, I'm sure. Excellent design, of course. Alright, we're not far off the junction now with well, we're going to be going left, yes. This road is in dread because they've patched it, and they haven't patched it very well, have they? Lovely thing about this ride is the sun's not in my eyes, so that's good. And we haven't had any rain, so that's not a good thing. Definitely looks threatening. here's the junction. Right, I'll leave you here, and if you can join me in part 2, then that'd be lovely. So I'll see you again soon, and take care. Bye for now.